right, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Botched Jackhammer podcast. This is where we rant and rave about all things WWE, AEW, everything in between. My name is Michael Hoff. You can follow me on Twitter at the FF Realist. Joining me, as always, Anthony Servino. He can be followed at The Real NFL Guru. You've got Dan Siegel, who could be followed at Dan Siegel Uncut. And then, of course, the infamous ATL Mikey, who could be followed at ATL Mikey 10. I still hate that Twitter handle. So, Anthony, I'll start with you, Anthony. Anthony, how's it going today?
I'm doing fine. What about you guys?
Oh, couldn't be better, guys. How's your quarantine life? Your prison sentence going?
What's your name in your clothes?
Look at this two tripping over each other. These two. Dan, how's it going, Dan?
Oh, it's just fucking terrific.
Okay, great. I'm glad I had to separate that for that answer. Mike, how's it going? Okay, Anthony, what's up?
I was going to say I had to take my mom for a COVID test today.
Yeah, that is kind of serious. Now, what brought that about?
She hasn't been feeling good, and she's obviously showing the symptoms. And I guess the doctor wanted to take a precaution. And it's not fun. It's kind of serious when you go to a testing center. And this wasn't one of those mass testing centers. It was, I guess it's a big doctor's office. There's like 5 of them. So you have to go to this one remote office, and there's a cop sitting there, and you have to have an appointment. And it kind of looked like the scene from E.T., where everybody's coming out in these big suits and masks, and they stick a swab down up your nose into your throat. And this is all done while she's sitting in the car.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
The craziest thing is I've never seen E.T.
Okay.
What?
Oh, way to break that up. First things first, way to break up the seriousness of the conversation, too. How have you not seen E.T.?
I don't know. I just never tickled my fancy.
Never tickled your fancy. You were okay. Anyway, all right. So we're going to be recapping. Listen, we had a show in which we recapped the first night of WrestleMania. We're going to kind of recap the second night, but really the whole night overall. If Dan's got anything to say on AEW, I think Dan was probably the only guy who watched NXT last night. So, yeah. So we'll get that lay of the land as well. But, all right, you know what? We'll kick it off with this. And I'll start with Mike since he's busy on his phone. Mike, night 2 of WrestleMania, your thoughts. You think it was better than the first night? Did you enjoy it? Just give me quick yes or no. Did you enjoy it, and what's better than the first night?
No and no.
No and no.
I did not enjoy it, and it was not better than all. I mean, it wasn't better than the first night.
There you go. Wonderful. Dan, did you enjoy it? Was it better than the first night?
It was okay, better than the first night.
Now, Anthony, this one I'm kind of concerned with because you shat all over the first night. So, did you enjoy it? Did you even watch it? And do you think it was better than the first night?
What, night 2?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, obviously.
The ending of night 1 with that ridiculous cemetery match, boneyard match, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It almost got me to the point where I did not want to watch on Sunday night. Night 1 was a complete disaster. I hated it. I don't know how anybody thought that Undertaker AJ Styles match was good, but people liked it for some reason. Night 2, completely different story. They should just delete Night 1 altogether off of WWE Network.
You know what the worst part was? And I think it was ATL sent me a picture yesterday, and it was something WWE put out on social media, and it was like, you know how they're doing all that stuff now. It's like, oh, you can only pick 3 of these things, you know.
The 3 top.
Right, and they were all WrestleMania matches, and I'm talking like you got Savage and Steamboat, you got Hogan and Savage, like you got classic shit there. Bret Hart and Austin, yeah, you got real deal stuff.
Well, there's some slam matches too, but
whatever
matches.
Be that as it may, they gave you classic matches, and one of those iconic matches, and one of those right in the bottom right corner was that stupid boneyard match. And I said, you know what, these stupid young kids and their recency bias, it's all going to be like, oh, the boneyard match, and they'll completely forget about Savage Steamboat.
Yeah, I wasn't getting any love.
Listen, I came in late on the show that you guys did recapping the first night.
Yeah, well, that's because you sleep till noon, Sleeping Beauty.
Well, yeah. But The biggest, I hated the Boneyard match too, but the thing that bothered me the most, right, and this seems stupid, but it really irked me, was Taker comes in on the bike. We all know Taker comes in on the bike and what that means. It's not fucking Metallica.
Whatever, we already discussed the kid.
If Taker is coming in on a bike, Kid Rock is behind him. Kid Rock's in the goddamn WWE Hall of Fame. You can play the music.
So Donald Trump, but
actually interesting. I wonder if Kid Rock had any issues with that because he's in the Hall of Fame. He is the guy.
I tweeted at him. I was hoping for a response.
What's our favorite match from night 2? Anthony, do you have a favorite match from night 2?
I really did enjoy the Bryce Cena, but that wasn't really a match.
I don't know what that was.
Actually, that's probably a good idea to talk about that. I mean, and Anthony, I'll let you give your thoughts, but like my whole thing was like the Boneyard match was not what I wanted, and I did not like it. The Cena Bray thing was not what I wanted, but I actually enjoyed it. It was like a stroll down memory lane with a lot of, layers and so on and so forth. But I didn't hate it. But Anthony, since you kind of led with that, you have any thoughts on it, or?
I just think after you watch that Boneyard match, and for them to do something similar but different, going back in time, telling. It was almost like they actually did a really good job telling a story between Cena and Bray, and they kept going back to all those years ago. I guess the first time they faced off at WrestleMania, and right when Cena could have finished him off, and he didn't. Yes. And that all culminates with Bray getting over this time. What I think is significant is the fact that Cena didn't really lose in a match. So it doesn't hurt Cena. I think it makes Bray look good after getting ridiculously embarrassed by Goldberg and the Botched Jackhammer, where we got this name from.
Right, and we'll get to that in a moment.
And I think it still leaves the door open for an eventual Cena heel turn.
You think we're just going to wait for a Cena heel turn until he clearly doesn't wrestle anymore? And I'm not shitting on your take, Anthony. I would love for him to turn heel. And I thought I thought this would be the perfect setup to it, which I'm sure you're going to say no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but isn't there a rubber match here? Because, Cena got one, Bray got one. There's all these rumors that apparently we could see a Sister Abigail tomorrow night. Eric Rowan needs something to do. They could redo this Wyatt family. What better way to turn Cena and to make him a member? I mean, there's so much you can do with this here. I just have a feeling Cena's not done. I think he wants one more run.
All right. Dan, what are you have any thoughts about that match in particular? And then we'll get around some of the other stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on it. First of all, I thought it was the complete opposite of the Boneyard match. It was really good. I liked everything. The questions that come out of it are this, and really I think you can interpret it one of two ways. Did they subtly just retire John Cena? Or look at everybody who was lost to the Fiend has been repackaged. Okay, like Finn lost, and then he went heel and went back to NXT. Daniel Bryan went back to his indie days. We've seen like all these repackaging following a Fiend loss. And a couple of days, or maybe even the day after that match, WWE comes out and puts out the whole Cena as an NWO thing on their social media. So at some point, I'm not saying soon, down the road, do we see, and I'll tag along with Anthony here, do we see Cena come back repackaged as a heel?
I mean, listen, I'll be all for it. I've been all for it forever. I'm always one of those guys that despises the good guy and loves the bad guy. So I mean,
I guess my point is you only really have two directions. He's either retired and we don't see him anymore, or if he comes back, he has to be different because that's what we've always seen from the Fiend. If you lose, you come back different. he can't come back the same.
And the one thing is, Cena would be respectful to that storyline, I feel like. But Mike, Mike, we'll kick it to you, Mike. What kind of thoughts you got?
He's not going to come back different because that's John Cena's whole jig is that he's always stand up and he's never going to change. He's going to be himself. Yada yada. The thing I'm more concerned about is in the future is because you had the Boneyard match, which was like a cinematic performance. Same thing with this Firehouse. It wasn't even a wrestling match. It was just like a bunch of scenes put together, and it was like
a montage. Yeah.
Yeah. But then even Johnny Gargano versus how do you pronounce
Tommaso Ciampa.
Jesus, Michael.
That was the same thing. That was a cinematic view.
Yes,
So
I sat through that last night.
So my concern is, are they going to start doing this in the future? I get why they're doing it now is because there's no fans and they got to try and do something different since there's no fans. But when we're allowed back in the arenas and fans are part of the show like they are normally going to be, is this going to be the new norm now? Are we going to get more of this garbage?
That's
because
true.
That was a wrestling match, Cena versus Bray Wyatt. It would have been a cool promo thing. A few years back when Cena was eating popcorn in the stands and he didn't have a WrestleMania match. If they did something like that where he didn't have a match and there was no match and that happened, that would have been cool. If you're not expecting the match, this is just... It would have been cool to build it up for the storyline. They should have done that
I don't know. I thought no matter what, I actually thought that was fine, and we talked about it.
It's not a wrestling match.
Well, it's not, but we talked about it after we recapped night 1 of WrestleMania, and we were all kind of that mindset that we didn't know what we were going to get, but we didn't think we were getting a wrestling match. We thought we were getting something along the lines of that Boneyard match. So,
but what they could have done though is done that whole Firefly House segment.
Funhouse. What's wrong with you? Get it out. Firefly Funhouse. Come on.
Whatever it may be.
What do you want them to fight in a Pee-wee's Playhouse type atmosphere and stick puppets up each other's ass?
You gotta let me finish. So what I was going to say was, you guys talk about how all these wrestlers get affected by Bray Wyatt. This is when you could have seen the Cena heel turn at WrestleMania because Bray Wyatt just fucked him up and affected him so much.
Anthony,
what good is a Cena heel turn if nobody's there to witness it? And maybe that's why we didn't.
What good is WrestleMania if no one's there to witness it?
I just want to know if they're going to
not that good, evidently.
Each other's ass. Is the Vince puppet going to scream, "Damn, that shit's good"?
Yeah, but now you're talking about Cena retiring. So what's good is Cena's last match if there's no fans there?
Well, he's saying that it can go one of two ways.
I'm saying they've left it open ended, and those are the realistically other two options. Because if they take the third option, which is what you're saying, which is Cena comes back as Cena, same as we all know, I think you've thrown away everything you've just created with this.
Look, people are going to forget about it. Cena's going to come back. He's going to be like,
no, I get what you're saying, Mike. Because Cena's been Cena for so long, and he's done that same gimmick for so long, and it's worked for so long. But I agree with Dan's perspective here on just you see the other guys that have come out of this, and they've all changed, and they've all come out dramatically differently.
No one's as big as Cena, though.
Yeah, but
you can't compare John Cena. I mean, I like Finn Balor much better, but you can't compare a Finn Balor. You can't compare Jerry the King Lawler to a John Cena. This man is so hesitant.
Main event at WrestleMania 2 years ago.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan's gone through so many character changes.
Anyway, okay. So, Dan, what was a match that really stood out to you?
I thought the Charlotte match was the best match of night 2. We kind of expected that as far as, we knew what Edge and Orton for the most part would be, and we'll get to that.
Yep.
But as far as in the ring and everything, the Charlotte match was everything that I hoped that it would be under the circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it was expected to be one of the best matches of the night, and it was. I would go with Edge and Orton being the best match of the night, but so that clearly gives away what I was going to talk about. But ATL, do you have a favorite part of night 2?
Yeah, Drew McIntyre winning the title.
Okay.
That's the only thing I really enjoyed.
let's just rope this in for fun. How'd you feel about Big Show showing up the night after, even though it was the same night? Dan wants to go off.
That was horrible.
Dan wants to go off. Dan's going to explode.
Why, just so he could promote his show, C Vertical?
All right,
On Netflix? Like, it's not even on a major network.
How stupid was this? They come out, right? So 20 minutes, right? McIntyre wins. He goes to the back. He gets the plates changed, right? He probably takes some photos. Now he's going to come out, full entrance, music and everything, do a interview, right, where he's basically crapping on Heyman and Brock. And what do we get? We get the fucking Big Show? What the hell is that?
It's classic WWE. It's what they do with Daniel Bryan. His first feud was with Kane.
20 minutes after?
Well, that's because they had fans back then.
I would have liked, I'm not going to say liked, but I would have respected it more if, as McIntyre is celebrating, doing the whole thing, Big Show comes out. That would have made more sense. Not take him to the back for 20 fucking minutes and then do a whole other entrance.
No, none of it makes sense whatsoever because the Big Show has been absolutely irrelevant. He has been off programming. You haven't seen the guy, and then all of a sudden, just like Mike said, we see all these commercials. He's got a new Netflix show coming out, and then now he challenges for the title. And by the way, not only does he challenge for the title, but it's not a problem. We go through all these number one contender matches, all these heated matches where someone's got to win to challenge the champion. Big Show just comes out and he's like, "Yeah, I got a Netflix show. I want to fight you." And they're like, "Okay, fine, whatever." That seems normal. Go ahead, Anthony. What do you got?
Number one, you bring that up. Since when does WrestleMania have commercials? I know I'm talking about Netflix,
no fans.
Modelo, and all the. So that was something that stood out.
Well, they got to make up some revenue.
I just before I lose my train of thought here, when we're going in favorite matches, I think Aleister Black came out of this looking really good, and I think they're continuing to build him up.
Oh yeah, that was a big win over Bobby Lashley. He's been.
I feel like that moron from Heavy Machinery. What's his name? Otis. If he would have just turned Mandy,
that moron, he says,
a little bit more, we could have got a Mandy crotch shot when he was carrying her out.
Wow, that's wow, okay. All right, that's where we're going with this.
And where's my third thought here?
I don't know. I think you got hung up on the second one, obviously.
The women's championship match with the Bayley. I was really waiting. I thought Lacey Evans was going to come out on top. I actually liked the way that match was. I did not expect Sasha Banks to bail Bayley out.
She didn't. She got
She did.
No,
Yeah,
Bayley pushed her out of the way, and
no, she comes back and interferes for Bayley to get the count.
I don't know. I fell asleep.
Pizza, you douche.
No, I wasn't feeling too well, so I took some NyQuil. And then I woke up and I thought I was hallucinating, so I've seen an NWO shirt, and I asked Mike the next day, I'm like, did this really happen, or was this results of NyQuil? And it wasn't.
But
it should be noted that with Anthony's with Anthony talking about crotch shots, it's important to note that Anthony's the only one on the show that does not drink. So just shows how genuine that point really was.
I was legitimately mad.
Trust me, I know, and I'm sure the audience can feel that.
I needed some post-Mania material, and I didn't get it from that.
I got ripped apart on Twitter for my tweet. I asked, I was like, what was Mindy Rose's WrestleMania payday for that kiss she had to endure from Otis?
Yeah, you took some heat for that. There you go. At ATL Mikey is the ultimate troll. If you're looking for troll fun, that's the account to follow for any and all things trolls. But yeah, my favorite match was Edge and Orton, just to see Edge back in the ring.
That was horrible.
Waiting so long for that.
Can we discuss that match? Because
we're discussing it now. This is happening.
No, I'm saying you love that match. I don't think that match came across how well, at least they wanted or I wanted.
I loved it.
It was bad.
You're bad.
I think the fact that they were limited to the PC Center, and I think the fact that there was no crowd really hurt that match. Not to mention how the hell, I'm going to bring this up, how the hell when Orton ties Edge to the weight, did somebody correlate that to Benoit? Come on, people.
You give somebody a reason to make a point, they'll do it. Well,
the
whatever.
whole Benoit thing just came out too. The whole behind the mat or the dark side thing. Whatever you guys watch.
Dark Side of the Ring. Get it right. Come on.
Okay, that's close.
Guy's messed up with all of his titles. Anyway, whatever. I enjoyed that for what it is because I enjoyed having Edge back. I know. Yes, I know it would have been better suited if it was in front of a crowd. I know it would have been better suited if they had a whole arena to work with. Even though Mike keeps on interrupting me, would have been much better than a performance center. But I just enjoyed having Edge back, and that was really. I feel like that carried me through.
We have
any
breaking
kind of
football news.
Oh,
I can't
hold it in.
The Texans are trading for Brandon Cooks.
Wow, that's a real thing.
I had to break it for anybody who doesn't know. That's football's kind of my thing.
Yeah,
we know.
Well, the listeners might not.
That's a real thing.
So they've replaced DeAndre Hopkins with Brandon Cooks.
Bill O'Brien traded his first-round pick from 2030. That's all they got left.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, there you go. There's a little juice for the FF face-off if you guys are...
I was going to say, well, anyway, while we're breaking into football, Mike, I don't think you're a gamer, but if you've ever played the 2K, like the WWE 2K games...
Nope.
That's what a lot of people who do were tweeting this. The Edge Orton game or match.
Right.
Yeah. Felt like playing a 2 game because there's a lot of like
moving around.
There's a lot of like these like unexplored areas and back rooms and things like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like we've never seen anything involve a trailer other than in 2K, and all of a sudden here's Edge and Orton on top of a trailer. Like everybody got like a 2K feel out of it, and that's certainly not what they were trying to do. It was awesome to see Edge back. It was awesome that he did a good job of tying in the fact of he just came back. His first real match, in 9 years, and everything was affecting the neck. Like you saw him stretching the hands and all of that to give that feel. So all the little things were there. I just thought the circumstances drug the match down a little.
And that's special, by the way. The Edge, the WWE 24 fantastic. I watched it. I made the wife watch it the next day. She loved it. Definitely must watch. What? Go ahead, Mike. Mike, you interrupt everybody. What do you got to say, Mike? Mike, just from now on, from a host who has to corral all you clowns to you, raise your hand when you want to speak, and I'll call on you. What do you got?
The match was, first of all, was way too long. It wasn't fluid. I don't need to see them moving from area to area. I don't need to hear them grunting.
Well, you're hearing them grunt because there's no crowd.
Just some background noise, and the thing is too is they had these edit this. They couldn't just been well, hey,
It's true. They could have edited stuff post.
Yeah,
like that thing with the whole Benoit thing. People complain about. They could have just taken it out.
How does that nothing get past the drawing board? You don't think someone raised their hand and hey?
That's my biggest issue with how do I feel about WrestleMania, because I came in with no expectations, and then I watched it and I'm like, well, it was better than I thought, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this was all pre-recorded and they spent all this time editing and all this stuff, so shouldn't it have been better than what I saw?
Right. It's good. Fair point. I mean, all right, let's talk about this thing really quick. I think this is kind of important. Oh, Mike's raised his hand. Yes, Mike.
Follow the instructions. The reason that I really started to hate WrestleMania was because I watched AEW yesterday, Dynamite, and they just put on such a good show without the fans there. Just the presentation is good, the match quality is good, and I'm like, why couldn't they sort of replicate this for WrestleMania?
So, wait a minute. You hated WrestleMania on Saturday and Sunday because you watched AEW the Tuesday after WrestleMania?
First of all, it's the Wednesday after.
Sorry. Where do you keep the DeLorean? Michael?
Well, okay. No, the point being, though, is...
now I know I don't have to call you whenever you raise your hand.
It gave me more to sing for WrestleMania.
Into something else here really quick. I want to get into the whole Goldberg thing. And Dan, I know you noticed as I was saying it. What's going on? Anyway, So the Goldberg bit, okay?
Yeah.
Goldberg lost his title, dropped his title, and now there's reports coming out that basically said that he basically campaigned to have Bray lose the title. That was all political. And you want to take it there?
Yeah, here's the best thing, because this is a two-pronged thing. So we all were sitting here going, why would you give Goldberg the belt over the Fiend? Because that basically squashes the Fiend. And we find out that Goldberg basically went and campaigned for it, said it would ruin his image if he lost to this type of character, blah, 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 blah. So they give Goldberg the belt. So now, circle here to WrestleMania. Roman drops out of the match, and they go to Goldberg before they announce a replacement because they were really stuck. They were just trying to decide between Braun and Jeff Hardy. And I feel like if Goldberg goes along with the plan, we don't get Braun. We're going to get Jeff Hardy. So they go to Goldberg and they're like, listen, Roman drops out. That's who we were going to give the belt to. And what we would like to do is your contract expires at WrestleMania. We'd like to extend you and have you hold this belt a little longer until we can transition. Goldberg basically said, screw you. I'm dropping the belt. Go find somebody. And that's why Braun now has the belt. So, A, Goldberg, go fuck yourself. And I'm a big Goldberg guy, but go fuck yourself. And 2, they have no faith in Braun, which is what I said to this. Braun is a placeholder. He'll have it till SummerSlam, and this run is done.
If he even has it till then. Well, I'm actually, given everything that's going on, maybe he will by default. But, Anthony, we haven't talked to you in a bit, Anthony. You've been over there just probably sleeping.
No, what are your thoughts? Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I know. What are your thoughts on old Bill Goldberg and his liver-spotted hands basically commanding WWE on what to do and then leaving them high and dry when he's ready to not sign a contract?
I'm not shocked. He's a part-timer. They decided to put the belt on a part-timer, and this is kind of what you get.
Yeah, it's this is the risk you run when you bring in. I shouldn't even say these guys because you know what, Brock's the kind of guy. Listen, Brock might come in and he might make his demands and he might strong arm Vince every now and again, but he doesn't really do dumb stuff like this. He does Brock, what he has to do.
Listen, Brock knows how to do business. When they were doing the build up, okay, when Drew gave him the Claymore before we lost all the fans, Brock was the one that told him pick up the belt.
Yeah,
Brock
yelling at him.
Brock knows how to do business. He just wants his pay. That's it.
Yeah.
You know how this coronavirus, you can't have anybody around. They still manage. Here's what's sticking out: this Goldberg entrance with them knocking on the locker room door. Are you kidding me?
With him coming out of the bathroom, practically.
Really? Did they really need to do that?
Yeah, of
because
course.
That wasn't a new thing.
Well, that's Goldberg's mystique. He's a superhero. Goldberg is delusional because you want to know what he thinks. He's a superhero. He thinks
one of the worst wrestlers. I wasn't a Goldberg guy back then in WCW.
Considering this was a scaled down WrestleMania, they should have given him the Goldberg entrance
with the sparklers.
Yes.
The worst part was Goldberg. That he thought Bray had to drop the title to him because he thought that kids wanted to see the hero overcome the villain. Yeah. That's how delusional Bill Goldberg is. 52 years old or however old with his liver spotted hands, dazed and confused, doesn't know where he is, what time his medications are. The dude's out of his mind, and they don't even need him.
But, Mike, what's worse? The fact that Goldberg thinks that, or the fact that WWE is willing to squash the main superstar that they got on the rise to put it on him?
They're both at fault, yeah.
No, it's the latter, though, because the WWE runs the show.
You're a world champion. Should not have a white beard.
What about Triple H?
What Triple H starts growing a white beard? Happens then.
Why are we going to bring up Triple H? Triple H wasn't even on a card. You're telling me a Triple H match wouldn't have been better than Bill Goldberg?
No, it would have been. And
Triple H's beard.
I'm just pointing it out.
Triple H, good color.
He's got a couple of grays in there. Yeah, but
it's not white. It doesn't look like Santa Claus.
It's getting there, though, man. It's getting close.
He's using that. He's using that comb.
Yeah, he's using the comb. The Just for Men.
All right.
Good times. Always love screwing with Anthony. Okay, Mike, what you got? Something else?
Hey, by the way, the Cooks trade is Cooks and a fourth for the second round.
Oh, jeez. Texans. My God. Okay.
So he got a second round. Do you realize Brandon Cooks has been traded like 3 or 4 times in his career, all for first and now a second?
Brandon Cooks is like one of those guys who's like, Brandon Cooks is like one of those girls. It's like one of those pretty girls, and then you wonder, like, how come she's not married? How and then all go team to team to team, guy to guy to guy. How come no one wants to hang on to him? Turns out he's nuts, and yeah, he's a basket case probably.
See, Mike came up with a way better analogy than I would have. I was going to go with Brandon Cooks is the chick that you take home at night, and then you wake up in the morning and you go, "What the fuck did I just wake up with?"
No, that would be hiring Bill O'Brien. That would. That's what that would be. ATL, do you have any thoughts on as you're rubbing your eyes? I'm sorry, you're sleepy. We'll let you go to bed in a minute. Yeah, you have any thoughts?
Must have some more NyQuil.
Yeah, some more NyQuil in there. Some more NyQuil with those hands. What do you have any thoughts here on Bill Goldberg?
I don't know. I don't like Goldberg, and I don't like Strowman.
All right, that's it. That's all you got.
I want to see one of them get injured in that match. That's what I was.
All right.
Okay.
No, kidding aside though.
You let him go.
I just don't think Braun Strowman was the right pick to go because he had no steam going in. Like, if this was, like, months ago when he was, like, a little bit hotter, then yeah, sure. But they just had him lose it, like...
Sami Zayn.
Shouldn't say, yeah, it's Sami Zayn. And, like, 2 years ago, he's winning a title with a 12-year-old, and now all of a sudden you're going to make him the champion? I just think Braun Strowman's a joke anyway. He's overrated. They had this...
The kid should have came in and helped.
They had this questionnaire on social media, and it's like, oh, who's the best wrestler of all... Your favorite wrestler of all time? And for most overrated... As much as I dislike Seth Rollins, I put Braun Strowman.
Okay.
Because all Braun Strowman has just a big raw.
Good times.
If he wasn't 6'8".
Well, again, I think Braun being in that match again, like just like Dan was saying, was more a product of Roman being out and them needing to find a replacement within a matter of a week and a half or whatever it was,
No, and then they needed somebody to look legitimate to beat Goldberg. Like I said, Jeff Hardy was going to be the guy if Goldberg stays on because Jeff Hardy's not legitimate to win. Jeff Hardy's legitimate. Well, Jeff Hardy's legitimate to walk a DUI line. That's what he's legitimate for.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Walk a DUI.
That's almost as bad as Big Show. It's almost as bad as Big Show.
Like, I don't want to see Jeff Hardy shouldn't even be on programming. Get him away from me. It's done.
Right.
Why shouldn't he be on programming? He's better than a lot of guys on the roster.
Because he can't walk the straight and narrow.
Because his alcohol content is higher than the ratings for Raw.
But he could do it while he performs.
Maybe he could be on this podcast, and maybe he could.
Shawn Michaels back in the day. They got messed up, but they performed when they had to.
Mike is clearly good for the comic relief.
I would definitely swap out ATL for Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's a functional alcoholic.
Oh, come
anyway.
No. But this is how it would have worked with Jeff Hardy.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and go clean up your point.
Jeff Hardy could have... Goldberg would have went for the spear. Jeff Hardy's quick enough. He could have gone out of the way. Goldberg would have banged up his shoulder, and then Jeff Hardy would have, did the twist of fate, and then some other moves, and boom, won the match.
If he was you really think he could do a twist of fate or a swanton if he was all banged up in the ring?
Who?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's fine. He's ready to go.
He's fine. He's ready to go.
He had a couple of beers. He's good.
The bars are closed. Where's he going to go for a drink? He doesn't know where to go.
Were you his best friend? He's fine. He's ready to go. Look at him.
Where's he going to go? He can't bite.
You make it seem like Jeff Hardy's got to go to the bar. Jeff Hardy brings the bar to him. Okay, let's calm down.
Anyway, so the main point being is I think
thought he liked drugs more than anything.
Well, apparently he likes a little bit of everything.
Oh,
all right. I was like, he's
well-rounded
party guy.
He looks like he'd like the powder.
This is a very in-depth wrestling podcast.
I love the powder, so
okay. All right.
Moving on.
I have nowhere to go for a straight answer. Dan is my voice of reason today on today's show. Is there anything else with Raw or AEW that anybody wants to bring up as we look to tie this up?
I got to bring up NXT because I'm the only one that watched it. And they did the cinematic thing like they did with Boneyard and Firefly for Gargano and Ciampa last night. And like ATL said earlier, my concern is that, and this proved it last night, they did a couple, they got way better reviews on Boneyard than we would give them. So they're like, Vince is probably in the office going, shit, this cinematic stuff is great. Let's make all the fucking matches cinematic now. So they make Gargano and Ciampa cinematic last night. And, okay, Mike, come on. You watched the first two Gargano-Ciampa matches. Those are NXT staple matches.
Classics.
Last night was garbage.
I didn't.
Garbage.
That
is supposed to be the last match between them. That is supposed to be, this epic trilogy match that you put in this cinematic thing for no fucking reason. Okay, I'm not even sure what the match is. Okay, is it a hardcore match? Is it an I quit match? Because the ref keeps asking them if they want to quit. Is it a last man standing? They never fucking count. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Man, who's running things in NXT that they let that go on?
Anthony, that's an insult towards you because he's making fun of Triple H.
All right, well.
Like, stop with the cinematic.
Anthony's got all the gusto for this show.
The cinematic stuff is for Taker who can't fucking move. Okay, like, stop.
Yeah, but now it's gonna be this is the norm now.
No, get it the fuck away from me.
What's the norm?
I don't think this is. No. The norm.
You don't think it's the norm? You guys
What, pro wrestling is going to be all like movie shoots?
Yeah,
no, I don't think so at all.
Xavier Woods is up there on fucking up, down, side, whatever the fuck it's called, saying this is the future. This fucking schmuck. Who looks
Damn,
like
with the F-bombs. Wow.
If this is the future, I'll pull away from wrestling and just watch old content.
Well, you better start now.
And I've done it before.
Well, you're going to do it now because I'm telling you guys.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just a product of. I think we will see it.
People are going to pay $500 a ticket to go sit in a venue and watch shit on a screen.
No, Mike is talking about extremes. Mike is trying to paint the picture that it's going to happen wall to wall, everywhere you go, every single match, every single pivotal match is going to be like a cinematic experience. I don't think so. I think that this gives them
a majority.
Will you shut up? God damn it! Raise your hand. Go with your job. Raise your hand. No, and I'm not answering you yet. I think it will get to the point where it'll be, WrestleMania next year. Even though they'll be in a venue and they'll be in LA next year and it'll be a big venue, big crowd. I'd be willing to bet that they would do one of these type matches there, one of these cinematic type things. But no, I don't think this is going to become a daily occurrence every single week.
But why? So what are you going to tell the people sitting there?
Because Vince thinks it works. Because Vince thinks it works, and Vince isn't going to tell them anything. Vince is just going to put up on the screen. He's not going to care if they complain. This is like the time.
So what? And then put a dark match in a ring?
Pretty much, not even. Well, and I'll get you in a second, Mike. But this is like that year, the year Orton. I forget what year that was. It wasn't the year he fought Rollins. It was like a year after that, I think. And apparently the whole crowd was like blinded by these lights for like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, Vince doesn't care. So he'll just throw a movie up there. You just watch it because you're there. And he's already got your money because you paid for the ticket. So he doesn't give a damn. But Mike, I've been ignoring you long enough. So go ahead.
Vince's problem is his ego. What? Oh, no. So Vince, he's got other concerns. He doesn't care about wrestling right now. He cares about his SSL. He wants to be a movie producer. That's what he wants to do. And this was his way to, shove it down our throats. And then you get a bunch of stupid people that jump on board with it instead of just, everyone completely shooting down.
If Vince wants to be a movie producer, and you don't think he's ever gone back and watched No Holds Barred or The Marine 1 to 11 and realized that's not in his cards?
No, because
11 of them.
Well, Anthony,
why would there be 11 of them?
Anthony, to answer your question, no, I don't think he goes back and looks at that and realizes that he shouldn't do it again because look at the XFL. He's doing that again.
And the last Marine movie was good.
And technically, he is a movie producer with WWE Films or studio, whatever it is.
You don't understand. Vince's problem is his ego. He's gonna. It's just the same way it's running Reigns. How like everyone kept rejecting Roman Reigns. He's like, well, I'm gonna make it work because I'm Vince McMahon, and this is how it's gonna be.
I think Vince knows.
No,
Vince knows he needs help because he brought Bruce Pritchard back.
As what? What?
As the calming voice.
Okay.
Because you're not going to completely control Vince, but from what I listened to that show a lot, multiple times, it just seems like Bruce has been there from the get-go. And if there's anybody who could try to talk sense into Vince, it's Bruce.
That would be Pat Patterson, but... Bruce Pritchard's not going to be anyone. Bruce Pritchard's just playing his cards right. He's giving Vince McMahon, he's nodding his head yes.
And the fact that we haven't seen Brother Love back yet.
Okay, this shows
Bruce Pritchard. He wants a paycheck. That's what he wants. So he's going to give this man his hand. Oh, you don't. You don't think he's motivated by money?
You don't think that he gets a pretty big paycheck from having a 2-time #1 podcast in the world? You don't think he's making money?
I think he's doing just fine there, Mike.
I think he's getting more money being employed by WWE, being in an executive position type role.
Anyway.
Okay. Maybe.
How much is he making from the podcast?
Oh, good God. All right. Are you done?
The #1 podcast in the world. 2 years in a row.
I'm invoking a rule on this podcast. This is not just this podcast thing. From now on, we are going with an ATL raising hand. That's what we're going with from now on.
How much does he make? Let's say that podcast, I don't know what it makes. But let's say low end it makes a half. Let's say low end. Let's say low end it makes $500,000. Let's say low end. So that's $250 for Conrad, $250 for Bruce, and you work 2 hours a week. Maybe let's say you work 8 hours a week with the research. Yeah. Or are you going to get paid $250, $500,000, and you're working like a dog for Vince? Bruce doesn't need the money. He does it because he loves the business.
Right. Agreed. Go ahead, Mike. Counterpoint.
You don't think he needs the money? I mean, he could use the money. He's not like he could live the rest of his life without a care in the world. I'm sure, like, he's comfortable, but not that comfortable. So you think he's making $500,000 off a wrestling podcast? You're crazy.
Mike, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He was an executive for 25 years with the WWF.
I'm talking about the podcast.
Oh, God. It hurts so bad.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Mike, real quick, because I know you want to go to last thoughts. We got to do the one other thing. We have to do our 3 favorite wrestlers from the photo thing from Facebook.
Oh, Jesus. Yes. All right. This should be fun. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dan.
All right. So here are the choices. Anthony, pay attention. Austin, Rock, Triple H.
Sounds like he's getting farther away.
Yeah.
I haven't moved. So Taker, Macho Man, Flair, HBK, and Bret Hart.
Okay, and now for the listeners, what is this list again?
It was a thing on Facebook. They posted, I think from Fox actually, they posted a list of 9 guys, and it said pick your 3 favorite wrestlers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pull that list up. Dan, since you read off the list, do you have what you would go with there?
It is... I would probably go Austin, Macho Man, and HBK. That would be my 3.
There you go. ATL, do you have the list up in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have your picks?
HBK.
Yeah.
And then Macho Man. Definitely not Hogan. Definitely not Triple H. I mean, I don't know. Ric Flair.
All right. Anthony?
Hogan, Flair, Triple H.
I'm stunned he doesn't put Taker on there.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't extra replace Kamal with one of these guys.
Now listen, it's the whole idea is that you can only pick 3, And I imagine that it's your 3. Doesn't have to be historically correct. You pick your 3. So I'm not picking Hogan because anybody who knows me knows that I hate face Hogan. I love Hollywood Hogan. If it was Hollywood Hogan, he probably would have gotten the nod. But a guy like Hulk Hogan that's limited to 3 moves, and one of those 3 moves is when he rakes your back while you still have a shirt on. I can't go with Hulk Hogan. So I'm gonna go with give me Stone Cold Steve Austin, give me Macho Man, and then Shawn Michaels. I mean, my honorable mention would be Triple H, and I'm not just
not Ric Flair.
No, my think listen. There's no. I feel like there's no right answer. There's no right answer with these 9 guys because they're all.
Here, Mike. Here's my question.
Mike, you're supposed to raise your hand, Mike.
I did raise my hand.
No, raise it again. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
So, what metrics are you using to pick these 3? I just don't are you picking your 3 favorite of all time, or are you picking
Yeah, I'm picking my 3. I'm picking my 3. They told me to pick my 3. That's my 3.
I was gonna say, me and Mike have the same 3. Mike said he would have went with Triple H at 4. I would have went Rock at 4.
Yeah, and I get that, and that's the thing. I feel like there's no
right or wrong here.
The only one I feel like is kind of a wrong answer, and Anthony will love this, is I don't think Bret Hart could be one of these 3.
Yeah, that's tough.
Only because of the way, and Anthony uses this point all the time, so I mean, I'm basically taking the words out of his mouth, but the time in which when he was really running the show, I don't think that really stacks up to what these other guys have done. Worker in the ring, sure, but I don't know. I think that plays a part in it.
I'm still trying to figure out how Anthony talks up Taker all the time, and Taker didn't make his list.
Anthony, why doesn't Undertaker make your list, man?
Well, number one, you got to put Hulk Hogan on there.
No, you don't.
You have to put Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan carried the business on his back through 1992.
The hell with that guy.
Through 92?
You got to put Flair on there because Flair preceded Hogan, and Flair was still going strong. I would say into the 90s, well into the 90s. And Triple H picked up where they left off.
Oh, gee, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Taker was running strong when Hogan ran strong, beyond Flair, and while Triple H was running strong. By the way.
But I don't.
I've never been more enthusiastic to pick Mike because he's raising his hand. Go ahead, Mike.
How did Hogan run the show in 92? His last
he's saying up until 92, he was saying.
Oh, up until 92.
Up until 92 is what Anthony was saying, yes.
I don't know. I mean, you had Macho Man and Warrior there, no.
I called on you because you had your hand raised. I thought it was going to be fire, and there it was. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have anything else to say before we end the show today? Any other thoughts? I'll go to Anthony first because I feel like he's spoken the least, which is probably what he wanted to do in the first place. Anthony, any final thoughts? WrestleMania, the state of the product, anything that's on your mind with wrestling.
They have an opportunity here if they end up getting shut down to really rethink things and reboot things, and I hope they take advantage of it.
How would he do it though?
Mike, this is
you want me to write how I'd book the 2 rosters? You want me to write that?
No, because this is final thoughts, and the idea is that final thoughts is supposed to be about a 90-second response, and then we end the show, Mike. This is why I gotta learn how to rein this guy in. He's terrible. All right, so Anthony, but I agree. I think that would be a good opportunity for them to really kind of hunker down and really think things through a little more thoroughly than what they do now. I agree.
Looking for your bicep, Mike.
Where is that?
Got to say your prayers and eat your vitamins to grow, man.
He opens the fridge and then he sees his bicep on a milk carton. He looks
gotta drink some IcoPro.
Lex Luger style back during that WrestleMania 8 interview.
You got to speak with the Luger lisp.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you got to get on that. Dan, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I found it hysterical that up until basically until they recorded WrestleMania, Vince was still trying to figure out a way to get fans into the PC Center. His plan was to get a limited number of fans in there and basically spread them out, like the guys that come to WrestleMania every year. There was an article in Sports Illustrated about one guy who has never missed a WrestleMania. And Vince personally told him, we are working on ways to get fans in, and you are at the top of the list.
I remember that guy.
So basically, up until the day that they officially pre-recorded WrestleMania, Vince was still not letting go of the fact he was going to get people in the PC Center.
Well, I think that's cool if you wanted to get that guy involved somehow. Because I remember that.
No, he wanted to get a group.
Oh, well,
not one guy.
But that one guy, isn't he a local guy? Isn't he from the New York area?
I don't know where he's from.
I thought so. Anyway, whatever. But whatever. That would have been cool if he got that guy there in some capacity.
Just one guy in the front row cheering for everybody. Woo!
I would have been happy with it. I mean, and then that would have been the noise that ATL was looking for. ATL, you have any final thoughts here? Anything else? Anything with the wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
I cannot wait for the day when Vince McMahon sells the company, because he's a poison, he's a cancer to pro wrestling, and he's just driving it into the ground right now.
All right, so there you go. All right,
hey,
yeah.
Anthony, real quickly, just your point that you were making earlier. Brandon Cooks has been traded by the Saints, Patriots, and Rams, and they've gotten 2 first-round picks and now a second-round pick for him.
Man,
amazing.
That's a 90-second final thought. Doesn't apply to everybody.
What's even more amazing, and we'll talk about this on the face-off tomorrow, that they moved off of DeAndre Hopkins, making $12.5 million, and wanted a new deal, and they get Brandon Cooks, who counts $16.8 million this year, $16.8 next year, $17.8 2022, $17.4 2023.
Anthony was the best move for
and
the
David
team.
Johnson, and absorbed all of his deal. So let's not pay a top 3 receiver.
Oh my God, Bill!
Bill O'Brien is the Vince McMahon of the NFL.
All right, well there you go. Well,
Poor decision making.
He would have had to build it up to a monumental franchise to tear it down for it to be considered a Vince McMahon type thing.
Jerry Jones,
all right, Mike, back to the raising the hand bit. Go ahead, you can raise your hand if you want to speak. Want to speak? Perfect. We're going to end the show right there. So there you go.
I was going to say, they did draft David Carr. Remember that.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. We're going to end the show right there, folks. So we hope you enjoyed this very erratic botched jackhammer. We'll see where the wonderful world of wrestling takes us over the next few weeks. But for now, folks, feel free to follow the show at Botched Jackhammer. And we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
It could take us down the wrestling glory hole.
Mm.
And we're off.